Hello, welcome back. In the last video we introduced the 0 or 1 knapsack problem and we solved the pseudo algorithm with dynamic programming. Today we are going to solve examples by hand. We will see the normal algorithm and also we will see the backtracing algorithm to see which items were selected to maximize the profit. And hopefully, this will help us understand how the algorithm works step by step. In the next lecture, we will write a Python code for the algorithm in order to understand it better. Let's start our example. We have 4 items which has different values and weights. And the capacity of our knapsack means that in this case, it is a box. The capacity of our box is 3. So, our goal is to choose items to maximize total profit without going over this weight limit of 3. First of all, before jump into the example, I have written the most important part of the algorithm. This part we will use while we are solving the problem. So, if the weight of the item is more than the current capacity, then we are not taking that item and we are directly copying the previous row value at the same capacity level. However, if it is not the case and if the current item's weight is less than or equal to the current capacity, then we are taking the maximum of either not taking it, which is exactly same as here, not taking it and copying the previous row, or taking it and using its value. Instead of profit, I said value to make it more consistent here. So let's start then. To solve this, we create a DP table. By the way, when we are using dynamic programming, we are creating a table. And most of the time, we call this table as DP. We have the current capacity as our columns and I, which is indicating the current item, as our rows. The columns represent capacities from 0 up to 3. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. Why 3? Because our box has capacity of 3. And the rows represent items A, B, C, and D. However, we have a special case, as you remember, the first row indicating the item 0, which means no items. So that means value is 0 for all capacities. And for other rows, we are writing our item names A, B, C, and D. And I will write indexes for these items as well, because we will use indexes while solving the problem. Okay, the first column is indicating if the current capacity is 0. If the current capacity is 0, that means that we can't put any item, right? Because all of our items have weights greater than 0, so we can't put any item when the capacity is 0. So we can also fill the first column with all zeros. Okay, now let's start with the row 1. When we look for the capacity of 1 for A, as we can see, it equals to current capacity, right? So we can use it. That means we are passing this part and we are directly going to the else statement. In the else statement, we are using a maximum function, which has 2 parameters. The first parameter indicating the previous row, and the second parameter is indicating what will be the value if we take that item, which is A in this case. If we don't take the item, we are directly copying the previous row, which is here. Since we are looking at this one right there, the previous row is here. So it is 0. And the value of A is 8. 8 plus dp. Since the current index is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. And the current capacity is 1. 1 minus 1, which is the weight of A, is 0. Let's see. Where is it? It shows us this cell, which is 0. So this one is also 0. The whole expression is 8. So that means that since 8 is greater than 0, we are writing 8 here. And since we are looking at the first item here, we can fill the remaining cells as 8 as well. Since we have already passed the threshold capacity, that means that we can take A from now on. So we can write 8. However, this is only true if we are looking at the first item. Let's look at the second item, which is B. Again, B has the weight of 1 and value is 5. So let's clean this section for B. The previous row in this case is 8, right? The value is 5 and dp, since the current index is 2, it will give us 1. And weight 1 minus 1 is 0. So here, yes, which is 0. So this whole expression gives us 5. However, since 8 is bigger than 5, it means that we are not taking B, because this one gives a better profit, a higher value. So we are directly copying the previous row. What about when the current capacity is 2? Again, the previous row is 8 and value is again 5. dp1, the current capacity is 2. 2 minus 1, which is the weight of the B. 2 minus 1 is 1, which is showing us this. That means 8 plus 5 is 13. Since 13 is bigger than 8, that means we are taking B. Then the current capacity is 3. As you can guess, again we can take B. However, let's see it by using the formula. dp, again my index is 2 minus 1, it is 1. Weight is 3, 3 minus 1 gives us 2. Let's see. It is showing us this cell. So again, this part gives us 13, which is higher than 8. That means we are taking B when the current capacity is 3. For the item C, we have the weight of 3 and its value is 15. Okay, this is very interesting because its weight is higher than 1, which is different than the others. Since its weight is 3, we cannot take the item of C unless the current capacity is at least 3. So that means for 1, 2, we can take C. So we are directly taking the previous row. We can only consider taking C when the current capacity is 3. So let's see. The previous row is 13, as you can see here. And the value of C is 15, I guess. Yes. 15 plus dp. So the previous index then 2. And this part gives us 3 minus 3. So that's 0. So let's see this section. 2 of 0, which is 0. So that expression gives us 15, which is greater than 13. So that means we are taking C when we have the capacity of 3. What about the fourth item, which is D? For D, as we can see, the weight of D is 2 and the value of D is 10. Again, since its weight is 2, so when the current capacity is 1, can we take D? No, right? We can't. So that means we are directly copying the previous row. Okay, when the current capacity is 2, however, we can take D, but should we? Let's see if it is profitable. The previous row is 13. The value of D is 10 plus now that our table is filled, we can directly take the last cell's value as our answer. So that value indicates the maximum profits. With that much capacity and by using combinations of these items. But we don't know which items we should take, right? We only know the maximum value that we can reach by using them. How can we learn it? Now that our table is finished, we will do backtracing, which is basically saying that just look at the previous row. If the previous row is the same as the current row, that means you are not taking that item. However, if the previous row is different than the current row, that means you are taking that item. For D, since it is different, we are taking D. Let's write here our best combinations. Which items we should choose in order to reach the maximum profit. So we are taking D, right? As you can see, D has the weight of 2 and the current capacity is 3. So we are taking D, then we are extracting the weight of D from the current capacity, which is giving us 1. 3 minus 2, 1. So we are directly going here. Okay, now let's see. Are we going to take C? No, right? Because the row is not changing. Are we taking the B? No, it is not changing. What about A? It is changing. So we are taking the item of A. Let's see if that really gives the maximum profit that we have been searching for. The weight of D is 2 and the weight of A is 1, so their summation gives us 3, which is the capacity. Okay. The sum of their values are 18, which is the maximum profit that we have reached. So these are the items that we should select in order to reach that maximum profit. And that's it for this example. So let's move on to the next example then. Now we have 7 different items and we have also more capacity, which is 7. So let's start then. Oh, by the way, I have written the algorithm again on the top of the example so that we can use it whenever we want. Again, I am creating my table dp, the current capacity, and the current item index. So we will have much more bigger table in this case because we have the capacity of 7. We are writing all the numbers from 0 to 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's make it bigger. Okay. So, for the first row, again we are writing the 0 item case, which is saying that basically if we have no item, we have no profit. I am also writing the items here. When the current capacity is 0 again, we cannot take any item, which means the value is 0. Let's look at the item 1. Item 1 has a weight of 2 and its value is 10, which seems like a very profitable item, right? Let's see. When the current capacity is 1, we can take it because its weight is 2. Again, we are taking the previous row. When the current capacity is 2, we can take item 1. However, should we? Let's see. The previous row is 0 and 10 plus dp 0, 0, which is giving 10, I guess. Yes, because this part is 0 and the whole expression is 10, so we are taking 10. As you remember, when we are looking at the first item in the table, after the threshold, we can fill the remaining parts with the same value. Let's look at the item 2. Item 2 has the weight of 3. So, until the capacity of 3, we are taking the previous rows. 0, 10. And for 3, it has a value of 5. So, the previous row is 10, 5 plus dp 1, 3 minus 3 is 0, so this one right here. So this whole expression will be 5. However, since 10 is greater than 5, that means we are not taking the item of 2. So we are directly taking the previous row. What about when the capacity is 4? The previous row again is 10 and its value is 5. dp, this part is 1 and it will give 1, 1, which is showing us this right here, which is also 0. So again, we are not taking the item of 2 when the current capacity is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. So let's see. It is 10. So this is 10 and this whole expression will give 15. So we are writing 15, which means when the current capacity is 5, we are taking the item of 2. When the current capacity is 6, this part will give us 6 minus 3, which is 3. So let's see. 1 and 3. It is also 10, which makes here 15 again. When the current capacity is 7, this one right there gives us 4. Let's see. Again, it is 10. So this whole part will give 15. So again, we are taking the item of 2. Item of 3 has a weight of 5 and its value is 15, which is very high. However, since its weight is 5, until 5, we will directly copy the previous rows. What will happen when the current capacity is 5? Let's see. So we will update this part. The previous row is 15. Yes, 15. The value of the item 3 is 15 as well. So here it will be 2, and 5 minus 5 is 0. So it is right there. Right? Yes. That means that actually we can either take it or not. Let's see when we have the current capacity of 6. When we have the current capacity of 6, 6 minus 5 gives us 1. So 2, 1, which is 0. Again, it is 15. So nothing is changed. When the current capacity is 7, it becomes 2. And it is giving this cell, which is 10. So 10 plus 15 gives us 25. And since 25 is greater than 15, we are taking 25. For the item of 4, it has a weight of 7. So its threshold is here. So until then, we are directly copying the previous row. When the current capacity is 7, the previous row is 25. The value of 4 is 7. And dp 4 minus 1 will be 3. And 7 minus 7 is 0. So it is 0. So that means that we are not taking item 4. We are copying the previous row. For item 5, let's see. Oh, its weight is 1 and its value is 6. It seems like a good choice. And directly from 1, we will look actually, yes. So let's clean this part. The previous row is 0. Its value is 6. So we will certainly take the item of 5 when the current capacity is 1. And dp, the current capacity is 1 minus 1 is 0. So 4 and 0 is 0. So this expression gives us 6, and we will take item 5. When the current capacity is 2, and 2 minus 1 gives 1. So let's see. 4 and 1, which is 0. This part gives 0. Let's see again. Yes, it gives 0. And that expression gives 6. That means we are not taking the item of 5, because 10 is greater than 6. So we are directly copying the previous row. When the current capacity is 3, 3 minus 1 gives 2. Let's see. 4 and 2, which gives 10. So 10 plus 6 is 16, which is greater than 10. So we are taking the item of 5. For the capacity of 4, this becomes 3 and 3, which is again 10, so that means we are again taking it. When we have the current capacity 5, let's update it. The previous row is 15. 5 minus 1 is 4, so 4 of 4, which is 10. Again, 16 is greater than 15, so we are taking. As you can guess, we will take it again for the capacity of 6. But to be sure, we will look. 6 minus 1, which is 5. Let's see. 4. Yes, 15. So 15 plus 6, which is giving 21, which is greater than 15, so we are taking it. What about when the current capacity is 7? So in this case, the previous row is 25. And 7 minus 1 is 6. So 6 of 4. 15 again. 21. So we are not taking. We are directly writing 25. Since the whole table isn't formed yet, we don't know whether or not we will take the item of 5 or not. We will decide it at the end of the table. So when the whole table is formed, we can understand if we should take the item of 5 or item of 4. We can only decide it when the table is finished. The next item, which is 6, it has the weight of 4. So again, I am doing the same things until the threshold. The previous row is 16 in this case. And its value is 18, dp, 5, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So this part will be 0, and this whole expression will be 18, so we will take it 18. When the current capacity is 5, 5 minus 4 is 1, so this right here, 6, 24. When the current capacity is 6, the previous value will be 21. 6 minus 4 will give us 2. So let's see. It is 10. So it will be 28. And when the current capacity is 7, the previous value will be 25. And this will be 3. 3 or 5, which is 16. So 16 plus 18 will give us 34. Let's move with the last item. The item of 7 has a weight of 1. Oh gosh, we should look at each different capacities. Okay, finally, we have reached the maximum profit that we can reach. It is 34. Now let's do backtracing in order to find which items we should take. It is not changing, so we are not taking 7. Is it changing? Yes. So let's write it. Best. We are taking 6. And the 6 item weight is 4. So 7 minus 4 gives us 3. So we will be here. We are taking 6. Is it changing? Yes. We are also taking 5. because it is changing, and 3 minus 1 gives us why we use 1, because the weight of 5 is 1. So 3 minus 1 gives us 2. So we are going here. Isn't changing. Is it changing? No. Is it changing? No. Is it? No. Is it? Yes. So we are also taking the item of 1. So that's it for today. We have solved 2 different examples, and the second one was really long. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any question, please ask it. And have a great day. See you in the next lecture.